Hey Dolphins fans, if Xavien Howard gets traded, I don't want you guys to miss a thing. So before I get into today's show, look down underneath the video, hit that big red button that says subscribe, and I want you to click that notification bell. All right, let's get into today's show. Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and on today's video, I'm going to walk you through 5 blockbuster trade ideas for Miami Dolphins star cornerback Xavien Howard. Maybe you live underneath a rock. Maybe you don't know what's going on with Howard, but he has demanded a trade. My man RC and I, we broke it down yesterday here at Chat Sports. He's unhappy with his current contract. He wants some more guaranteed money. He believes that he is worth more than his contract. So what you're going to see on today's show is not only the latest news and rumors around Howard, I am also going to show you 5 teams that I think could potentially go out and trade for him, and I'm going to give you some crazy trade ideas. They're going to be a little bit different, and every single one that you see on today's show, I want you to go down in the comments and let me know what you're thinking. So coming off a year, we had 51 tackles, 10 interceptions, 20 pass breakups. He also finished 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. But when you really talk about what he was able to bring to this Dolphins defense, he totally shut down an entire side of the field. And if Byron Jones would have been healthy, you could realistically talk about the best cornerback duo in the league. So here's what Ian Rappaport literally had to say. I'm going to say like an hour ago in terms of filming. Less than a day after cornerback Xavien Howard requested a trade, 2 playoff teams called the Dolphins inquiring about trading for Howard, sources said. Others have too. Howard, by the way, practiced fully today and has handled himself like a professional. So I don't really know what like a professional means. Personally, I think the way Howard has handled this entire situation is actually quite disappointing, but that's a whole nother topic. In terms of Howard's career, when this man has been healthy, when he has been on the field, he has been one of the best cornerbacks in the league, especially at being able to force turnovers. 10 interceptions last year. 2019 only played in 5 games. Still, though, when he was on the field, he was solid. 2018 in 12 games, 7 interceptions, 35 tackles, 12 pass breakups. I agree with Howard, the fact that he has outplayed his contract when he's on the field. The issue with some of these athletes is like, in 2019, you only played in 5 games. Did you give back the money? No, you didn't. So in terms of Howard's contract left, he's still got 4 years left on his deal, which kind of makes this an interesting situation. He got a brand new contract just 2 years ago, and at the time, it made him the highest paid cornerback in the league. Now he's the 6th highest paid guy. So average $12.33 million, guaranteed left only $12.08 million, and then that signing bonus left $4.2. So this entire video is about trying to figure out where Howard could potentially go, what exactly he's going to be worth in a trade, and I'll get into all that stuff here in a little bit. But where will Howard play in 2021? Take a guess. Does he stay in Miami, or does he go somewhere else? I'm going to be looking down in the comments. So here are the 5 highest paid cornerbacks in the National Football League. Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey kind of stand out all over 17.5. And then Tre'Davious White, Darius Slay, Howard's teammate Byron Jones, who was just signed this past, I guess I shouldn't say this past offseason anymore, in the 2020 offseason. But then you have Xavien Howard, 15.10. Again, this is per year average. He's going to make about $12 million this upcoming year. But if you really want to say, okay, I'm unhappy, I want to get paid what I deserve, I believe him and his agent, they're going to come out and say, I want Marlon Humphrey type money. I want Jalen Ramsey type of money. So if they want to redo his contract a little bit, you could see that looking at 4 years. This is the projected contract that we came up with at Chat Sports. 4 years. $78 million total. The average is 19.5, so he'd sit there right next to Marlon Humphrey as the 2nd highest paid cornerback in the league. And then the guaranteed million, $55 million. So no longer upset about the guarantees around Xavien Howard. Now, if you guys are big-time fans of what we do here at Chat Sports, we appreciate you. We're also going to be live for the NBA Draft starting Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're actually going to start 90 minutes early before the draft itself. We're going to be live for all 2 rounds. I don't know what role I'm going to play necessarily, but last year there was a time when we were live, we had 94,000 people watching at one time. I got a goal. I want to get to 100,000 live watching at one time. So if you love the NBA Draft, if you love interactive shows like we have here at Chat Sports, look down below, hit that big red button, and subscribe. So now what we're going to get into is the potential Howard trade destinations. These are not ranked in any order, though I will say if I were to put my money on which team is maybe the most likely to go out and trade for Xavien Howard, I'd probably put my money on the Arizona Cardinals. They've been all in mode. They went out and signed A.J. Green. They went out and got J.J. Watt. Plus, they lost Patrick Peterson in free agency. I like some of the cornerbacks they have. I like Byron Murphy. I personally believe he fits in the slot a little bit better. But if you could add another dude like Howard on that outside, they're going up against Matthew Stafford. They're going up against they're going up against Russell Wilson. There's some pretty good talent. Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, whoever you want to put. They have $11.3 million in terms of cap space. That's 16th most in the NFL as it stands right now. And if they want to be a serious threat in that division and overall in the NFL, this Howard move definitely does it. So every single team that I have here, I'm going to give you a trade idea. The Cardinals, they get Xavien Howard. The Dolphins, Chandler Jones, he just asked for a trade. Now, I do think that if Jones would have played in 2020, Jones for Howard would actually be a pretty interesting straight-up deal. But since Jones is coming off a year where he didn't play much and Howard coming off a 10-interception year, I'm also going to throw in a 2022 fifth-round pick. So go down to the comments right now. Let me know who wins this trade. If you believe it's the Miami Dolphins, I want you to type Dolphins. If you believe it's the Cardinals, I want you to type Cardinals. And in this video in particular, because I'm going to ask you a lot of trades, it's very important for you to listen to what I'm telling you to type in the comments. That way, I know what you're thinking and for which trade. Let's go to the next team here. Steel City, Pittsburgh Steelers. In terms of one of the best overall defenses in the league, Pittsburgh's right up there. And I understand that they fell off at the end of last year. They won a bunch of games and then had a big old losing streak. Well, now that could end up changing here. And if you can reignite him with Minkah Fitzpatrick, pretty interesting. $12.3 million. That's 14th most in the entire cap space in the NFL. The Steelers also ended up losing Steven Nelson this offseason. So how can they potentially replace Nelson? Well, I'll tell you what. Man. Xavien Howard, he's pretty damn good cornerback. So the Dolphins, they would get Alex Highsmith edge. The reason why I'm going to throw in Highsmith is he's a sleeper pick for me. I've seen him being very highly talked about already this offseason. Plus Pittsburgh, they went out and signed Melvin Ingram, so it could be a little bit of an easy transition. And then the Dolphins also get a 2022 first-round pick. So be honest with me, y'all. Who wins this deal here? If you believe it's the Dolphins, type MIA. And I don't want you to be MIA in the comments. I'm going to be looking. If you believe it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, go ahead and type PIT. Both sides kind of get a good deal overall, but I do believe the Dolphins want at least a first-round pick and then either a starter or some other potential options in terms of draft picks. Let's go to the third team here, and I know this one's going to catch a lot of people's attention. It's the Dallas Cowboys, and if you're like, wait a minute, Mitch, this Cowboys team, they don't have a lot of money in cap space. You're kind of right here, but you can move money around if you really want to be able to make it work. Only $5.4 million, 26 most. The Dallas offense is ready to rock and roll. I know that Dak's coming off an injury, but I would put the Cowboys as a top 5 offense. That's how confident I truly am. That defense, on the other hand, is probably a bottom 5 defense. If you want to get a star cornerback in Dallas, here's your opportunity to 100% do so. They've been linked to Howard in the past, and cornerback is still a major question mark for this team. So here's the trade I decided to draw up. Howard to Dallas, and the Dolphins get Kelvin Joseph, who Dallas drafted this past year out of Kentucky. He's got some on-field issues, and then a 2022 first-round pick. So who do y'all think ends up winning this deal here? If you believe it's Miami, type M. If you believe it's Dallas, go down in the comments and type D. I don't know exactly what type of contract Howard's going to get, but out of all the teams that y'all are seeing, I would actually say that Howard and his agent would probably be willing to take a cheaper deal going to Dallas, because anytime you go to Dallas, you're going to get more sponsorships, you're going to get a lot more other deals, and oh yeah, no income tax. Let's go to the New Orleans Saints here. They're number 4 on my list. Another team that's not really afraid to go ahead and make some moves. The offense is a big question mark. That defense is the strong suit of this team, and if you're able to pair Marshawn Lattimore and Xavien Howard, I love what the Ravens have, but this might be the best cornerback duo in the National Football League. $11.4 million, 15th most in the league, and the Saints have been a team that have been linked to Howard in the past. So the trade idea that I'm drawing up, you guys are catching the theme of today's show, right? So Xavien Howard, he's going to New Orleans. The Dolphins, they get Marcus Davenport. Remember, New Orleans ended up trading up a lot of picks to go ahead and get Davenport, but maybe they're kind of willing to move on from him. They drafted Peyton Turner out of Houston in the first round this year. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson Robinson is probably a player that some of y'all remember. He played a little bit down in Florida. And then a 2022 second-round pick. So what do you guys think? If you think the Miami Dolphins, the Fins, win this deal, type F, because I'm going to be looking. If you think it's the New Orleans Saints, go ahead and type S. Both of these trades, again, all 5 that I'm about to give you are ones that I personally believe are fair for both sides and could end up winning for both sides. The last one, I believe, is probably going to be the fan favorite for the Miami Dolphins. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars here, and if you've watched some of my shows in the past, you might have an idea where I'm going to go with this one. They could use an upgrade at cornerback despite signing Shaquille Griffin, and if you could have Shaquille Griffin and then Xavien Howard, that's a pretty interesting duo as well. They've been aggressive this offseason. They have not been afraid to spend money, and they've spent money big. I mean, think about it. Shaq Griffin got 3 years, $44 million. They gave the safety, Rayshawn Jenkins, he's making like $10.5 million a year. And this is the team that still has the most money in cap space. If Urban Meyer wants to make a splash, they want to start winning the way, especially if they want to win over the state of Florida. Who knows? Maybe this is something that could help. So the Jags, they get Xavien Howard. The Dolphins get Jacksonville's first-round pick last year, or I believe, no, not last year, 2019, C.J. Henderson. Out of Florida, number 9 overall, James Robinson. So they still have been looking for another starting caliber running back. Robinson's a good option, but if you think about it, Jacksonville, they just took Travis Etienne, so he's going to be a starting back. And then a 2022 fifth-round pick. So I know I've been putting up high picks, but Henderson was a first-rounder. Robinson had over 1,000 rushing yards. I'll throw in a fifth-round pick here. Who do y'all think wins this deal? Let me know down in the comments. If you think it's the Fins, I want you to type Fins. If you believe it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, I want you to go ahead and type Jags. So here are the 5 teams that I believe could potentially make a move for Xavien Howard. I know the report from Rappaport said 2 playoff teams and a whole bunch of other teams. If you're not an NFL GM, if you don't at least pick up the phone and call the Dolphins and ask them what the price is, I personally don't believe you're doing your job, because he was a top 3 defensive player last year. I'll put my hat on that. 10 interceptions, 51 tackles, 20 pass breakups. You should pick up the call. So out of the 5 trades that I hit y'all with here, we're going to run through them again really quick, and I want you to let me know which is your favorite. If you believe it's this trade, go ahead, type 1 down in the comments. If it's the Steelers trade where you're sending Alex Highsmith and a 2022 first-round pick, please go ahead and type 2. Maybe it was the third trade idea that I had involving the Dallas Cowboys. Go ahead and type 3. Anybody from Nolans? Well, we're about to find out. If you think it's Howard going to the Saints, go ahead and type 4. And then the last trade idea that I showed y'all has C.J. Henderson and James Robinson coming to Miami. Go down in the comments. Let me know which is your favorite trade. Honestly, y'all, out of all of them, I kind of saved the best for last. I'm going to go ahead and type my 5.